All right, so piggybacking off the last two videos I did about core and abs and trunk and stuff like that. Yesterday we did a lot of stability training, and I mentioned that I think it's been overused, and it's overused with a lot of strong athletes. Like most of those guys are already stable. They don't need to learn. They don't need to keep doing planks and stuff like that. So that's more of a beginner thing, and then we brush up. Stability is going to be more beginner, and then we brush up on it a little bit as we need to and warm ups and whatnot. But after that, we work more abdominal strength training. And I've seen ever since we kind of shifted away from all the stability work and more towards strength of the abdominals, your rectus, your lower back, and your obliques. We've had a lot greater gains in our athletes in terms of strength, a lot less lower back, nagging lower back stuff, injuries. So it's been really good for us. Now we train it pretty much in a couple different ways. So let me put this down and so you can kind of see here. So we're going to train the abdominals. We're going to train the abdominals for strength, and we're going to train them in spinal flexion, which would be like sit-ups, standing sit-ups, all different sit-up variations. We're going to train them in hip flexion, which would be like knees up or like legs up, okay, leg raises, stuff like that. We're going to train it in lateral flexion, so like side bending type of movements. And then we're going to train them in with rotation as well. And then we also do a ton of lower back with the abs. So I did a whole videos before on lower back training and the 45-degree extensions, the horizontal extensions, and the reverse hypers. But for today, I just want to kind of go through like the different types of abdominal strength type of stuff we do. This is not going to be all of it. It's just a few things, some of the basics that we do. Obviously, we can always make things harder or easier depending on the person. But a basic leg raise where we start people was with the... We're going to start people on the leg raise machine here, the Roman chair. So we just kind of get up in here, and then we do leg raises. So nice and controlled. If they can't do straight leg, we do bent knee. Okay, that's going to be like a lot more hips, but it is going to be some abs. The abs and the hips kind of work together to flex your hip there. So we could do that. When we get to 25 reps or so, we start to add weight. So ankle weights or weight between your knees. Again, basic sit-ups. We have a decline sit-up bench. We also have we use the glute ham bench here. So we just bang out sit-ups on this thing. And now you can make this harder by adding resistance, or you can actually make it harder by moving the foot plate closer or further away. And further away, you don't get as much backward, you don't get as much stretch in the back, so it's going to be a little bit easier. This one's kind of close, so you could like lay back as far as you really can handle. Okay, we can add weight to them. We can add band resistance to them as well. In terms of rotation, typically for rotation of the spine, what we do is we usually do a lot of Russian twists. So we grab the landmine bar, and we're going to just Russian twist like that. Now, we could do these for weight, for lower reps. We could do it for higher reps. We could do it for, there's a lot of variations of these. We could do them without pivoting, with pivoting, arms bent, arms straight. We could do it, I could make a whole video on just variations of landmines, Russian twist with the landmine. We could do it fast, slow, from a kneeling, from a lunge position. Okay, so there's a lot of different variations we could do there. One of our staple sit-up exercises, which I didn't really mention, would be a sprinter sit-up. We do this in the beginning with a lot of even our beginners, because it kind of makes them coordinate their limbs and use their abs at the same time. So we lay down, we sit up, and we arms and knees, and just bang out. We call them sprinter sit-ups. And then, so hip flexion, trunk flexion, rotation, and then the last one is pretty much going to be side bending, which we usually just start with the kettlebell. We could use a kettlebell or a band. We could also use the reverse hyper machine with a strap, but typically basic kettlebell side bend is going to be just grabbing a kettlebell and then squeezing it across. Right now, the key here is a lot of guys like to just kick the hip and do this. We want to keep the hips kind of underneath of us and bend across. We'll do those for low reps, for high weight. We'll do them for high reps with lower weight. But the obliques there work to laterally bend the spine. They also work to help rotation. So the obliques are really important, and they help create that tension to the abdominal pressure, pushing out to that weight belt when you're lifting a heavy weight. So obliques are often overlooked by a lot of people, but they're super important. So typically what we do is we're going to just we're going to mix in all those different types of movements and some variation throughout the week. So we might do sit-ups one day, side bends another day, some type of rotational work a third day, some type of leg raise another day. Oh, one of the other standard leg variations that we're going to do is toes to the bar. So we're just going to jump up on the bar and bring our toes to the bar. This will be obviously after they could do pretty good Roman chairs. But you're here, and then we're just going to lift our toes up to the bar and down. So those are different ideas that we have for abs. Again, the abdominal strength stuff has been the key, I think, in keeping our athletes healthy and improving performance, and not just relying on purely doing stability training for our core and our ab work.